Oi, oi, Savaloy, as we say in London. It's time to get back into the games. We've got CLG versus Optic, and the first match is going to be on Dust 2, North American Special. This Dust 2 is the map of hope when you get into an international tournament and somehow the North American teams get Dust 2 versus a European team. You really can't call it. It's 50-50 as far as I'm concerned.
Well, we have seen that in the past. I mean, the first time, well, CLG actually broke out. That was, what was it? X Games, I want to say.
Damn, your memory is like
X Games and Aspen when they beat Envious in that overtime game on Dust 2 with Peter really having one of those big games.
No idea, mate. That was ages ago.
Yeah, it's starting to be.
I don't even know what day it is. And you're like,
honestly, I actually don't know either, but that's kind of just a work hazard thing.
that memory is outstanding, I must say.
Well,
Halvor is known for having insane memory about CS.
But yeah, pretty much for things that have no relevancy anymore. So I can tell you who won CPL Babbage in 2000, but to try to reiterate anything I've learned in university, it's just like gone. I've replaced it with more important things.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, do it with what you enjoy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, speaking of enjoyment, CLG on Dust 2. Do you think this is going to be an enjoyable match?
North American Dust 2, you just can't expect anything. You can't expect anything. And honestly, I would never pick a European team against a North American team on Dust 2, which doesn't mean I picked the North American team. It's chaos.
It is. But going into this, I would have to favor Optic, even if this is CLG's map pick. I just think Optic is the NA team that has pleasantly surprised me the most this last 6 months. And that's just because they have a very solid foundation of how they play, and that's really cool. And that's why they're oftentimes just very, well, they're always relevant at any tournament they go to. And there we go, Stanislaw starting things off strongly, 2 opening frags. Subroza was tagged down to 13 HP from the get-go, so it was one of the easier kills, but still big man advantage for them.
Oh, NAF flight, that's slightly awkward for you, sir.
Ooh,
you may want to back that ass up.
I kind of like the fact that he actually stays around. Whoa.
Ooh.
Definition of wrecked.
All right, we've got the CTs moving in for the retake. Tarik manages to mash a kill out. Very nice stuff from him. 1 for 1, gives his team a man advantage. Ethan picks up the USP, needs to go for that reload, but he will not be allowed to reload. Deagle coming in, but that won't be enough. The round will go to Optic.
Valiant effort, though. And especially coming off, well, starting off the round down 3v5, the fact that they get a bomb plant in any case really is more than they probably could have bargained for. So not the end of the world. It's also going to give them a bit of quite a strong economy. I would like to see them, well, more or less just try to opt for, well, less of an investment into this round. And it seems like they're actually going to follow that advice. So they might be buying, or they should be buying up in that third round. And, well, this is a bit of a, not necessarily a norm coming out from Optic, focusing heavily on rifles, actually. But I think that's partly because of the bomb plan coming in from CLG as well. So they're already prepping up for that early third round buy.
Flash and a smoke onto CLG.
It's going to be flash, smoke, and a dream. That's all they're going to have to hope for.
All right, then. So will we have the smoke into the entrance of the site?
It's going to be partially block off Plateau here. Not sure where they're going to throw the flash, though. It's just going to be towards Plateau, and then they hope for the best.
Let's see. Delayed flashbang. Could pop it into the smoke. Could throw it to the right of where Stanislaw speaking for anybody who's over towards the door, but the spray down. Maybe they have waited too long.
I would say so. The flash came out. The flash came out eventually. Didn't really do much, but it's a pretty big tell as well when you put down that smoke and then nothing happens. Like eventually Stanislaw will start shooting through the smoke.
They could have boosted up over the smoke, in fact. Like with all the time they were waiting there, and they had P250s in tow. Not the best gun from that range, but better than a Glock by all means.
Headbutted that nade.
Ooh.
Took that one to the face as well.
Yeah, human missile. Flashes coming in from Mixwell, and he will try to clear out the long area, but he has made a mistake. But his positioning, actually, I would be surprised if Cutler even checked. This is going to get super weird. even if Cutler doesn't check, though, mixwell's got an MP9.
I think mixwell's going to be screwed unless he pushes forward.
The drop of the weapon should have given the game away.
Yeah.
And now Cutler, this is all working out very nicely. Nothing but headshots coming in as the rest of CLG stroll into the B bomb site. Tarik's still there. Will he go for it? Stanislaw. Oh, there's a boost. They're on top of each other.
A bit of an NOA tower there, but hung around a bit too long for this to work out. Right now, I think best plan best option is really just to head towards T-spawn and save, because you're not going to retake this, and they should know that. And Tarik's kind of put himself in an awkward situation where he should know that he could very easily get sandwiched.
Speaking of sandwiches, he will be made the Rubin.
Well, Cutler with 3 kills, so even though he ends up in an awkward situation with 25 HP where he could have easily gotten taken out by mixwell, manages to more or less win that round on his own. But picking up NAF fly on that A slope, was he going to draw mixwell back so there's no quick backstab? A bit unfortunate for koosta. He's actually going to lose his op on that.
That is awkward.
Yeah, and they're not able to pick it up either. So that's, considering how things played out for Optic, that was a pretty good, good case scenario for them.
Yeah, fight or flights.
They're going to buy up behind this as well.
We've got Tarik looking towards the short position. And that is a very cheeky kill. No AWP required, but the T's will charge straight forward. That's a nice kill by hazed as well. Rush taking some damage. What do they do with this? Could go for a fast split, and it seems that is the plan. Stanislaw around double stack, takes down koosta for free. Subroza will trade. Super fast round coming in from CLG so far, so good. Should be good to get the bomb down as well. Rush has a Molotov. Let's see if he knows Bardolph Molotov, although he may not be allowed to take it, to throw it, because Subroza is just going to charge out the window. Oh, nice. CLG go for the 2-man exit. That's going to put the onus on mixwell. Avoids the flashbang. Let's see what the T's choose to do. Nicely done. Positioning superiority is here.
Good start for CLG there, managing to make the most out of it. That headshot from hazed right there, obviously playing a big part. But yeah, definitely like the fact that it's not just one guy bouncing out of the bomb site, but they do it, with by committee. Both guys following up. So in that scenario, they still have an opportunity to trade frag if the last member from Optic actually, I think it was Mixwell, if he ends up in a situation where he finds one of them. So that's just solid play from CLG. And now they're going to get an opportunity to actually bolster their economy a little bit. 2 SMGs out, 1 MAC-10 on koosta, and a UMP on Cutler.
Double flashbang coming in.
I like it. Playing it as safe as possible.
I mean, they were so close to each other that I don't know what the point of the second flash is. Unless there's like a blind spot they were trying to cover.
I guess it's partly because, they might bank on one player. Cutler's going to salvage that situation. Subroza follows up. Ethan as well. Nice 2 shots there. NAF all by himself, not going to be able to do too much, I think, with this P2000.
Easy.
Yeah, nice 3K there for Ethan. But, I think it's partly because in a very optimal world for any CT who's playing behind that door, he might be able to turn for the first one, like just a very quick drag back and forth. And if he's too snappy about it, he's going to get completely shocked and awed by the second one.
Safety is the key.
Yep.
I knew like a safety inspector person whose business card had a plaster on the back of it. Anyway, Stanislaw around the car. Good position for him, but the running koosta with a MAC-10 has got to put in work, trade for his teammate as well, and make some money for future AWPs. Subroza looking to cut off rotation. Is he spotted here? Looks like the players are searching for him. Mixwell going to get a very nice kill there. I think he got headshot somehow. Maybe through the box. Either way, so 2 versus 3. koosta upgrades to the M4. Ethan's heavily tagged though. koosta has a smoke to deploy and the Molotov, but he's far away from his teammate. Ethan around the tunnel. That Molotov comes in. Perfect timing. Should hear that some damage was done. Maybe the CT's going for a boost. Oh, there's a nice kill. Needs to reload quickly though. Push comes in. Down koosta goes. Ethan now 12 HP, going to get ruined. And it will be a 3rd round for Optic.
Wow. That almost worked out perfectly for CLG. The fact that the only guy who had head armor that round was, I think that, the only one who had head armor was Mixwell. And koosta finds 2 of the guys without head armor going into that B1, B site. obviously Mac 10 is going to be very efficient versus that kind of armory. And the fact that mixwell, well, the one thing that saves Optic in the end is the fact that mixwell has that head armor when he runs into, I can't remember who it was who was playing aggressively down towards CT spawn, but if he doesn't have head armor there, if anyone else runs in first, then they're 100% going to die. Well, still a buy round coming up for CLG. They did manage to break the economy of Optic and did a decent job on their anti-ecos to salvage some money. It's going to be interesting to see what they opt to do, if they're going to let koosta be the front man, trying to find a pick with that off. For now, just taking things very nicely, or nice and slow.
NahtFly moving away from CT or short towards the goose position. So we'll see. There's no one else on A, which might make them more likely to look for him. Mixwell, though, is moving up now. If he was on long, then maybe. But perhaps Mixwell can entertain them should they continue with this push. A minute on the clock. There's still time for CLG to venture through mid, perhaps. But it seems they're focused on the A site for now. Again, 2 players on the site, only 1 showing.
They have a ton of utility to set up for a really strong execute here. They could even go twice with it in that sense, that if they don't use all their utility, they can actually bait out so much from Optic. But they're just going to commit immediately. Mixwell finds 1 through the smoke, second one as well. Oh, staggers the push from CLG, but it's not over. NahtFly follows up with a frag on koosta, and, well, Subroza does get the better of Mixwell, but has been tagged up pretty heavily. And a man advantage for Optic.
NahtFly's in an awkward position, though. He's exposed to long and short at the same time. He's got Tarik in for support. But Tarik looking away from the flashbang. He'll go down. Trades come in. 9 seconds left. NahtFly needs to stay alive. Yeah, Stanislaw is there, actually, so NahtFly can be sacrificed.
Yeah, Stanislaw at that point should just run away, though, because they knew that the bomb was dropped, so there's no way, well, full knowingly, that the last guy from CLG is on long. Stanislaw doesn't even have to be anywhere near that situation.
I would expect some more flashes on that slope area.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think from some European teams, you get a few more flashes in there. I mean, I don't know if they had any at a time anyway. It's Optic in the lead now. Rush picking up the AUG. This is interesting. We see him with the Krieg on the T side. I think it is him who rocks with that. But now the AUG as well has 20% more armor penetration than an M4 at 90% total.
I still get triggered by watching that scope.
It's quite COD, isn't it?
It just feels wrong.
It is very COD.
Triggers my OCD. Well,
that's so COD.
So far, a pretty similar approach from CLG, just slow mid-control, getting up on Cat, and they still have a decent amount of utility here as well. We'll see if they're actually going to expend some more flashes towards the slope area instead of having more, well, so many flashes focused on the CT spawn area.
There are the helicopters. Call to strike! No more goose position being played from Optic. Again, Mixwell coming in for support. This time he has the AWP. I like the close play from NAF while the smoke's still there.
And he's gonna be able to hear. Oh, that's a nice shot from Cutler. But he would have been able to hear whether or not people drop down and spawn from that kind of a position.
It seems they thought it was a fake. Mixwell's moved completely out of position, which is exposing the site now. We've got Rush holding down the long position for now. He's not going to challenge these players. He'll hold it for the retake. We'll see what hazed can do from this position. One of the less usual positions to cut off a rotation. Nice. Subroza coming in to steal the second kill away. Now there's Stanislaw top mid of UMP, and this round has truly fallen apart for Optic with their read of it potentially being a B split rather than an A push through short. Rush comes in to die in mid, basically.
I gotta be one with the team.
Let's go and throw all your money away.
Yeah, it's unfortunate though for Optic in that situation that Stanislaw is sitting on a UMP instead of a Colt in that situation, because when he runs around from T spawn, he would have been able to spot hazed, and obviously trying that kind of a range with the UMP is pretty hopeful. So outside of information, he can't really be too much of a distraction or too much of a threat to hazed down in middle there, and that could have very easily changed how Optic are able to take control over that area. Again, CLG just hanging back, playing this slowly in every buy round they have, or pretty much every every round they go up against.
So slow approach from CLG, a passive start from Optic. Look, hazed is maybe having a cheeky peek around the B bomb site. Stanislaw coming after him. Double scouts. This is worrisome.
Oof.
He's caught repositioning there.
Yeah. And with him being tagged up previously by Tarik, all you need is one USP bullet.
And there's an AK stolen away. And look what Optic are doing in response to that, putting 4 people on the A bomb site. Rush can clean up these players as well. Subroza just jumping with his AK, not ready to actually challenge that angle. Mixwell, oh, he can get himself more shots as well. And Ethan's the last man. Goodbye. That was a mess from CLG and Mixwell. 3 scout shots, one by one. How often do you see that?
I just don't see that too often. Maybe with an op, the scout, everyone being in that perfect range of health as well. So things lining up nicely for him. But again, that's just a very heads-up call from Optic. The fact that the second Stanislaw picks up that AK or picks up that frag on an upper, just immediately gives out the information that there's nobody left there, and they make a judgment call really and chance it all on long. Works out really well. Obviously, all of that being possible due to Tarik's tags early on.
5-4. See if the madness will continue on this buy. Both teams somewhat limited on utility at the moment. CLG moving through the middle area, looking to claw back that man advantage. Not going to do it though. Tarik gives them another one. Stanislaw towards the car position once again. 2 places to try and hold down. Lovely spray from NaF at range. And Cutler's going to run straight into the meat grinder, as is koosta. Optic with an opportunity to extend their lead now with CLG all on $2,000.
Yeah. This is the golden opportunity that Optic were looking for. Stanislaw is going to opt for an MP9, knowing that the economy of CLG is completely broken. So I'm going to try to rack up some more cash. Maybe he can get his hands on another AUG. Tarik taking the fight in mid, not too afraid about anything that CLG might have to offer.
Just pistols from CLG, Glocks for the most part. Tarik what's got to be careful, doesn't want to have these numbers overwhelm him, but support is coming from top mid in NaF, going for the full spray once again. 2 kills for him, almost a third. The money grenade won't land in time. Not a single player down for Optic. So rocking an MP9, but hopefully that will be upgraded.
He's going to go the greedy route. Didn't get anything out of it by buying it versus the eco. This might come back to bite Optic, but already got enough to a pretty good start on their CT side here. Well, an okay buy coming in from CLG. No op on koosta, and again, they're going to try to go towards long early on here. But Stanislaw with that MP9. Honestly, the correct decision to make, really. Definitely for CLG, who's in a shaky place with their money. Definitely want to try to play somewhat slower. Stanislaw just trying to create as much havoc as possible. The fact that he gets Tarik with him as well is just a really nice way of setting things up for Optic.
Rush taken down by hazed, and that might give the game away for CLG. It might be a long run to get this bomb onto the site. Mixwell will see what he can do about it. NaF on the low ground as well. Could even have a double peek coming in, but first Mixwell will need to deal with hazed on the ramp position. Slow approach now, minutes on the clock, and you can see the bomb making its way up that long area. NaF is going to give up his position and join his teammate. Hazed continuing to push, catching Mixwell completely off guard. The bomb still needs to go down though. And there's another Molotov onto NaF and another one at his feet, so he could just keep spamming the site with Molotovs.
They're actually never going to be able to plant.
And there we go again.
Subroza's just like, really?
The endless Molotov game. NaF oh man, look how much time he's bought himself. They are never going to expect that so fast. The Molotov's only just extinguished. Now we've got koosta going to the goose position. Oh, he's going to take it straight in the jaw. Subroza just about hanging on there to get a 5th round on the board for CLG.
That was a very back and forth round. I like the initial aggression actually coming out from Optic. Even though they get a 2-for-2 trade, which is beneficial for the T's, it's a way of making yourself potentially effective with that MP9 instead of just holding an angle from a far distance, especially towards that B bomb site, because you can so easily get flashed out and not have any sort of impact at all. And well, he's done with the silly weapons right now. He's spot an auto sniper. He's going to be sitting at the back of that plateau, just being the most annoying person on Earth.
Optic playing the off angles over towards A, behind the barrels. A spot which is very rarely pre-fired, or pre-aimed, if that's even a term people use.
I think it's acceptable. Well, CLG once again just taking their time, setting up for control. And opted to go for more utility this time around than weaponry. So likely going to see an execute. Wouldn't be too surprised if we saw something similar as we've seen previously with having people drop down in towards spawn. Predominantly Cutler and NahtE probably being the primary lemmings in this situation. Oh, they actually missed the jump here.
Well, there's a second player down, but where are the flashes here? Where are the flashes now? They've still got some flashes in the bag, and they could really do with them on the slope position because NaF is still not blind. All that spam comes in, but a kill still going away of CLG. 2 players remain, including Stanislaw with the auto. But he is way out of position. I don't think a retake is reasonable here with an auto sniper in tow on one of these 2 players.
Definitely not. At this point, you're just going to die.
Oh, dear.
The best case scenario is obviously for Optic would have been to just find frags, a couple of pickoffs as CLG are vacating the sites, but not happening. Nicely timed flashes from CLG. But no, CLG actually managing to work with a pretty bungled execution, because you could see Hazed's idea was, no, I think it was Cutler actually. Cutler's idea, together with Ethan, was definitely to drop down into CT spawn with the pistols and push up. And I think Cutler missed that jump about 3 times, and then NahtE finally managed to make his way through the smoke and finds 2 frags with the deagle.
Rush with 1 flashbang, and there's a bunch of pistols. Not much between these 2 sides in terms of score. So far, so good. But we've got NaF lurking from the back. He's being waited for, though. So far, so good for CLG. In the meantime, Subroza will see that A is clear, but that's not much help to CLG unless they just kill everyone in the tunnels. That works. Tarik alone with 7 HP. Will be eliminated as well. 7-7. This is why. Well, I mean, who knows? It's only 1 half, so maybe one team will be dominant on the second half. But really, you can't call it in advance.
It's been very back and forth, absolutely. And it looked for like quite some time, actually, that Optic had they had a brilliant opportunity to actually just run away with this. Make it into a really solid half. Koosta spots the leg of NaF.
Cutler with a very late draw of the weapon, and it's too late to get the kill. Ethan will get 1 back, spot 2 more players towards long, so CLG have to know that the A bomb site is empty. And indeed, they are charging in that direction. Bomb late to join them. Subroza can't make it past the ramp, though, the hangover. There's hazed down as well. Very expensive, despite all the information they had. And we've still got Stanislaw towards that long position. The T is getting flashed off. They've got no flashes in response. Koosta heavily tagged as well. This is a very difficult round so far for CLG.
There's the one benefit for CLG is the fact that, well, Optic doesn't have any sort of nades at all, so they're going to have to go into this completely dry. Depending on what, well, CLG should be aggressive in how they're peeking this.
Well, there we go. Koosta with 1 more to find. Doesn't know if he's on the high ground or the low ground. Stanislaw, what do you have for us, sir? He could be on. He could go up either side of the box. Koosta just needs to concentrate on the box.
Yeah, it doesn't need to aim down towards spawn. That's not really a big issue.
Yeah. Jumping accuracy is not what it was. I think you take the gamble there. Anyway, 8-7. CLG take the last round of the first half. Not much to say, I don't think. It's
no, just
NA does too.
NA does too, and this is that. Well, CLG they're doing a good job of committing, even though they have bungled executes here and there. They're good at actually just committing to what they want to do. So you see even the broken execute towards Catwalk, for instance, where they win with the pistols, it works because they eventually follow through with it instead of having people chicken out.
I'm really curious to see what might become of this map if Valve choose to make some edits to it. Because even in Europe, I say NA does too, but Dust 2 is often just completely crazy
Oh yeah,
and
it's always been that way.
Yeah, so we will see. Let's see how this one continues. One kill for both sides. koosta putting in work with his second kill there, but the bomb site is taken by the T's. All in the site now. CLG could try and push around the bomb plant.
Ethan being tagged down pretty low as well. Unnecessarily aggressive from Rush there, honestly. You're in an equal opportunity situation. Oh, Stanislaw and NAF are still going to be able to salvage it, but yeah. Unless the idea from the get-go is to just get everyone outside, which I'm not really sure is necessary when you're on a equal man after plant situation on that B-bomb site, then yeah, I would have opted for a more passive approach from Optic, but they make it work in the end. And well, similar to what we saw in the first half, they're going to opt for a heavy rifle usage instead of SMGs for the better part of it. So 3 AKs, a scout, and only mixwell opting for an MP7.
MP7 high rates of fire and better moving accuracy over the UMP, but also an extra $500.
It's actually my favorite SMG, even though I never buy it anymore.
Yeah, I never buy it either, but like, I want to.
The UMP is just too cheap.
I pretty much only buy Mac 10 and MP9 actually. I never buy the UMP.
I constantly fall into the trap of buying the UMP. Even though it's a very good weapon, I'm just terrible with it.
Yeah, if it's not a map like Overpass, I'll buy a scout because I love scouting. And I will use it in the buy rounds, I don't care.
I like a scout, but I can't hit anything with it for my life. I don't know what it is. I swear it's different than the op in terms of just like how, I don't know. I feel like my zoom sensitivity is like twice the speed on the scout than it is on the op.
It's so awesome, man. It's so awesome. But it just has been like forever.
That's very true.
Scouts Knives spent a lifetime on there.
Oh, it's a fun map with gravity, of course.
Of course.
Well, B-take works out nicely for Optic with a Molotov back on the B plateau to clear out any campers. Works out nicely so far, and there's not really a lot that CLG can do. Set up an exit, kill positioning, and well, it's not going to work out too well. Ethan finds NAF, but in the grand scheme of things, it's not really going to matter because mixwell has already picked up a couple of kills with that Mag 10, so he's going to be able to supply his teammate if necessary, but it seems like NAF is pretty well set for himself as well. Has a trust fund built up. First buy round of the second half, though, and koosta has gotten his hands on an op and a very healthy amount of nades, really, on CLG.
Yeah, it's interesting how the AWP continues to rotate between koosta and Cutler. That is a failed smoke indeed.
Ooh. koosta actually getting boosted up on short there. Ooh. Stanislaw thinking the better of it. Doesn't want anything to do with that duel. Yeah, CLG trying for some early aggression with boosting koosta up on short there to see if he can find a pick and mid, but it seems like mixwell just bomb rushed straight down into big box, so he's not to be found. Well, Cutler will be found.
That was curious.
Yeah. I think they definitely hoped that flash was going to do more work than what it did.
And it may have lost him the rounds.
Yeah.
Pretty much has at this point. Subroza not in a position to do anything about the situation. Bomb collected and will go into the B-bomb sites. That is I mean...
It's a rough round for CLG.
Yeah.
And it's obviously you bank on finding something with koosta being boosted up early on. That doesn't come to fruition, and obviously Cutler not being able to fully trust his teammates' flash there into upper tunnel so he can readjust his position. Oh.
Seeing lots of timing pushes into long.
Both of these teams seem to have an affinity to actually go towards that long area. If they have the spawns for it, they'll easily invest a couple of flashes just to make sure they can get control to the point where the CTs can't feel comfortable about taking or peeking that corner or just holding long without having to expend a ton of utility on their own. This is a nice way to stretch the defense of the CT as well.
Oh, I thought he was going to get two. Didn't get a single one.
Yeah.
4-round lead for Optic with CLG back on the buy. koosta back on the big green gun, holding an angle towards short at the moment. The bomb's still in T-spawn. Literally just being collected now by Stanislaw. It's almost in range of an AWP shot as well. We've got Subroza over towards blue on long, and Ethan's going to join him for the time being. Guess relying on koosta holding down short, but he smoked off. Optic, though, won't have a fast approach because they do not know the setup of the CCs.
Look at Tarik. Tarik has just casually wandered his way into the B bomb site.
Oh, he felt like he deserved that one. Very unfortunate for Tarik, but what does that mean for the CTs? Still 2 players in B. Cutler moving away though. mixwell standing in the smoke, maybe waiting for some kind of execute to come in. Flashbang comes through. Subroza hiding on the site itself. Not spotted just yet. You see koosta now on top of the car. In case any smokes go down, he will be able to look over them. Takes mixwell down for free. This could be falling apart for Optic. 3 players to the 5 of CLG. The bomb's outside long for some reason.
It's just a very weird... yeah, just very weird decision from Optic. The fact that they don't commit to the catwalk push. I thought for the longest time that they were actually going to try to get someone down into spawn, and they stick around until every flash is used, every smoke has dissipated for no real reason.
What is he doing?
Subroza is on an adventure on his own.
This round has descended into randomness. It's like Twitch chat directing the players. I don't know what Subroza was doing there. Bomb somehow getting planted, and there goes this nice pick from NahtE, but we've still got Ethan towards long. I think he might have been spotted now. NahtE's got to be careful. Stanislaw with a cheeky frag sees a player in the boost position, koosta as well, looking for the headshot, and he's going to find it through the corner of the wall. Again, NahtE can just focus on the ramp now, but he can't get the kill fast enough. koosta clutching it. That was a very bizarre round indeed.
Yeah, that was very, very strange. I don't know what Subroza was doing. There was no need for him to go searching for information in that kind of a situation. CLG had the man advantage. They were perfectly fine. Time was starting to run down as well. That was weird, to say the least. But luckily for them, koosta steps up big in that round. Those shots are not easy to hit at all.
That second one was a really sick shot. A really sick shot. But I think this one was no, that one was a clean one. That second shot was crucial and glorious. Anyway, Optic able to buy. CLG closing the gap somewhat. koosta still on the off, and we see how important it is. No flash from the T's here. Why no flash? koosta already moving before the T even peaked, let alone he took the shot.
I think he got a bit stressed out about the fact that the guy didn't peek out at the time he was expecting it, so he was starting to be afraid that maybe he's been spotted out, and then there's going to be pressure from catwalk, or that that flash is actually going to come in just delayed at that point. So you figure he has to get out of a sticky situation.
Cutler can't go for the repeat there. koosta missing this crucial shot this time, and the second one, Rush takes him down. Ethan still holding on to the long area, but I think he gets tagged through the smoke. I think he backed off too far, didn't realize where he was maybe.
And you can see there's this tiny gap in that long smoke that just goes away there. This is a really, really tough retake. They have a Molotov on Cutler, so they might be able to remove some of the site, but with Ethan going down, it just becomes an impossible task.
Can we see the scoreboard briefly, please? Scoreboard, and we see that's just the 1 round CLG have won, and they get reset instantly. This puts Optic in a very strong position to take this map. Easier said than done though, but for now it is an eco round from CLG with next to no money in the bank.
And you were looking for one that seems to be more dominant in the second half, and so far Optic off to a pretty fashionable start. Should be looking to add this to 14-9. And now it's just a matter of whether or not they make a bit of a mistake, but they have tons of utility they can use. So as long as they play this carefully, this should be a fairly easy round for them.
Yeah, despite the closeness of the previous rounds, half, sorry, I didn't expect this one to be the same. So see Optic, he's making good use of their grenades.
Yeah, this is what you'd like to see, and this is one of the reasons why why I think so highly of Optic, because they do their grunt work.
Yeah, they're more clearly a more drilled team. Ooh. Okay, should be collected.
Yeah.
Some money saved. Counting the pennies. Look how awkward the money is for CLG. Are they going to choose to force it or play against match point?
I think they're actually going to go... wait, okay.
Yeah, money is super awkward, although right now hazed appears to be the best FAMAS player in the world with the range of the kills he's been getting. Cutler now AWP, no Kevlar with koosta on the scout. So this is definitely an all-in from CLG.
mixwell just straight up running out into mid, and that's the op gone. Well, right now, this is going to create so many distractions. Yep. CLG are just all over the place right now. And this is going to be match point, barring some absolute insanity from hazed and koosta. Koosta gets the first frag onto Stanislaw, but it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things, and down goes hazed. Mixwell just still hanging out in mid. And now they know where koosta is, so even though the bomb is planted on that A bomb site, he still has to work through 4 members of CLG, no, of Optic.
15-9, match point, Optic Gaming. This has been a quick game so far, at least in the second half.
It's been a pretty quick tempo, actually, for quite a bit of this. Like initially, CLG started off fairly slowly with their default buy rounds, but as soon as they started getting a hang of taking control over mid, they were pretty relentless with their aggression in that sense. And Optic, doesn't want to be any different. Well, it's limited what you can actually hope for if you're CLG in this situation with this kind of a buy. Sees it close up will be pretty nice though. Cutler gets the first frag onto Rush. Actually going to follow up with a second onto Tarik before he gets taken out by NAF, but here comes the cavalry for CLG. And all of a sudden, we find ourselves in a 1v3, and mixwell is probably going to... Well, okay, he seems to have a hunch that Subroza is still around in CT spawn, but I don't see how he's going to make it up that slope without dying.
Well, that's an interesting round.
It is, and well, we were talking about how Optic normally were very good at using their utility to clear out spaces and whatnot. This time they have a bit of a momentary lapse, and they get heavily punished for it. But I think that's largely off of Cutler's CZ work there close up on B.
Right then, let's see what Optic can do versus 2 AWPs on the CT side. Again, Cutler wielding the second one. Pop flash comes in. Rush back to the wall. Needs to make sure he doesn't show 2 at the same time. Trade frag are unavailable on this occasion. Cutler forced to abandon ship, and Ethan may boost him onto the A site. Hazed. That should have got that frag, but Tarik too strong. 5 versus 3. We'll see if Optic can take this one over the line. Cutler missing the first shot there, and he just can't get the fatal kill. 2-man spray down for Ethan though. Almost a third. Now Kuz is alone, and he seems to deliver from that position quite a lot, but how does he make his way up towards A? He's sandwiched, but the bomb's on the wrong side. The bomb's on long. And there we go. Carnage, that madness variance through the smoke, but it's Optic who take it 16-10.
Yeah, pretty pretty solid T side showing from Optic, barring that one anti-orbital. Yeah, the second to last round, pretty much. Other than that, very handed, comfortable victory for them, and we kind of expected it as well. But it's like you said, the first half kind of shows that Dust 2 is a bit of a 50-50 chance a lot of the time.
Yeah.
So even though Optic come into this game as favorites, you could definitely see that there were multiple opportunities for CLG to get back into this. And, well, yeah, we could see even individually they have players to step up from time to time. That 4K from koosta, the one round, this first round of the 2 they pick up on the CT half, for instance. Like, they have players who can do that from time to time.
Next match between these 2 teams will be Train, if I'm not mistaken. That's coming up in about 15 minutes. We'll see you back here later.